Episode 534 of the TV Dudes, recorded April 11th, 2025. The Studio! This week, we're going big with Apple TV's new series about the turmoils of making major motion pictures. That's right, we're talking about The Studio.
Apple TV usually isn't my brand, so can this show overcome a reputation for prestige slowness?
We'll find out. But first, I'm Les.
And I'm Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes. And you know Hollywood satire isn't all we watched this week.
To the Diaries.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
I know you had a bunch of auditions you were doing for books and whatnot, but what'd you watch this week?
I watched three big things. You know, other than keeping up with Daredevil, which was basically just like the kind of confrontation with fists going down. Have you officially are behind on Daredevil now?
I'm officially behind on Daredevil. Is this the penultimate?
I think it's the penultimate. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I will watch them both when they're all out. I'm sure I'll finish it out. I'm a majority of the way through the series, but yeah, this week rolled around and I was like, and I think I'd rather watch a rerun of Castle. I know I'll have fun with that.
There's a great moment in it for sure, though, of Matt having to talk to Poindexter because he's about to go into Gen Pop, and oh, I'm sorry, like cry me a fucking river, and during the interrogation, he just slams Bullseye's fucking head into the table like 3 times, and then he's like, "Guard!" Oh man, he just started bashing his head into the table.
The guy's crazy,
fucking nuts. And I was like,
that is some Sons of Anarchy shit to do to somebody. That's fucked up.
It's so funny because I'm like, I think the scene is supposed to be like, isn't that funny, or like that he's getting his vengeance or whatever. I'm like, honestly, shouldn't you be playing that like? I mean, I appreciate it because Matt just beating up people is just kind of like more of why I'm here to like see.
Right.
But given the nature of the season, it shouldn't that be the torment of like, oh, why would I give in like that?
But to say they should play that as just like straight hell Catholic guilt for Matt, right?
And maybe they will at another point, or
I know I didn't miss watching it this week.
But yeah, other than that, I watched Mr. In Between.
Oh yeah, you came in and were like, "Have you heard of this show?" And it's been a minute since I watched that. That was a show that my dad had just discovered and introduced me to. Actually, I guess when it was first airing on FX or whatever. Before Reacher was on, it was absolutely like my dad's favorite show.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The Australian, basically hitman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
You right?
Mm-hmm. I just kind of like it because he's like it's not like he's a genius hitman or whatever. He's kind of like that Glenn Powell movie, like, like, hey, there's a hitman. Like, there's no such thing as no one's gonna whack you for like a small amount of money. And this feels like when you see where he lives or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how much he's making. Up until, man, he did a deal the other time, and he's like, okay, I know who you're talking about. Do you want me to do the deal? Okay, that's $250,000. 100 now. You call off the job, and I keep it. And I was like, Jesus, what the fuck? Oh, wait, why do you live like in a shithole? And it's like, well, one, he's living with his brother, but it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, is this basically what the best place you can live without having to show any receipts for where, like, is this the best place you can buy in cash? I guess is my, like, without anyone like raising the eyebrows of like, wait, aren't you like a bouncer at a club?
Right.
But yeah, it's basically another, speaking of like a Daredevil, it's just another point of like, he goes to like anger management or whatever because he assaults a guy or assaults two guys that knock over his little girl's ice cream cone.
Yep.
And like, so a lot of like he has to go like that happens like in the first episode, and and he's still going to that anger management thing.
Right,
so, like,
right. But also, he's not fucking sorry. I mean,
well, he's not sorry about that, and honestly, like
he's not exactly wrong.
well, he's not wrong. Like, and it's like in the way he breaks it down is like, well, I mean, they were being assholes, and
Right.
like, well, I mean, there are a lot of assholes in the world, Ray, and he's like, yeah, you know why? Because they're not afraid of getting hit in the face.
Right. No, like, he makes the my dad fucking loved the show. It's just very much like, no, but is Ray wrong?
Yeah,
It felt very Lebowski. Like, no, you're not wrong, Ray. You're just an asshole.
And I like to think of myself as a courteous person, but there's also a fear of that people are, when I go outside, people are nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, any confrontation I get into, I could get into confrontation with a crazy person. There's not a non-zero chance I get hit in the face.
Right.
And I feel like, yeah, there's the Karens of the world, you know, or whatever the male equivalents of that.
Right.
But like, there's definitely the just zero fear of any like at least physical consequences.
Right. You can say like, so that people will say things that like, you seriously can't have ever been punched in the face and say that, and say that to another human standing right in front of you.
Well, then he throws his fucking girlfriend's brother through a window, and like, well, how did your girlfriend like that? Well, I don't have a girlfriend anymore, so.
Yeah. So this was an indie film called The Magician. That Scott Ryan,
really?
that the guy who is Mr. In Between, like Ray,
Okay.
I think wrote and directed and stars in.
Okay.
And so then he partnered with Nash Edgerton to develop this, to develop it into a show about Ray. And I've not seen The Magician. I would like to watch it. It is apparently documentary style. It is it's the Hitman version of Leslie Vernon.
Oh wow, that's an interesting. Okay.
So he's hired described as an amoral film student to document his life. And so it seems like it's got a lot of that same burn notice. Like you've got a proxy character where Ray can be walking around going, all right, so we're going to get this money back from this guy, but you don't want to actually have to shoot him or anything. You know, seems like it's got that vibe.
Well, I like that they find an episode starts with them figuring out one of their crew is an undercover cop.
Did you make it far enough for him to be digging the grave?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great. Honestly, that was
awesome.
That's the same episode.
Yeah, that's right. That's really early on.
Or that's the two-parter finale.
Right.
Of the first season.
First season. Yeah.
Because like they discover there's a cop in their crew, and you're like, oh shit. Well, this is basically the whole episode. And actually, they're about to go do a deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
They're about to go do a job, but they figure out he's a cop beforehand, and then him and his friend are basically in the car, like, what do you want to do? Like, and Ray, you know, Mr. In Between is like, man, let him go. And it's one of those things, and no one really calls him on it too. Like, well, no, you don't want to actually kill a cop.
That's a whole other mess.
He actually doesn't have anything on us.
Mm-hmm.
If he did, we'd be arrested. He was planning on doing the job with us.
Right. So don't give him something on us.
So we can't give them something on
Right.
us. Like it's
no, and I think that's to me the fun of the show is that there's that frequently he makes what feels to some of the other criminals like maybe a counterintuitive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually the smarter, less emotional play, and the appeal of like treating this like being a mechanic or any other kind of fixer. Like, he just does these things, but I think it's why it feels like burn notice. Like these are illegal things Michael does, but like there's a sensible, calm way to do these illegal things, and then there's the ridiculous get yourself killed way.
right. And then after talking with the cops or whatever, he gets picked up by the two people that are taking him to like whatever Albanian or whatever fucking mob guy, and one of them's played by God, I can't remember the actor's name, but he ends up like saying it's nothing personal, Ray, and by the end of it, like he actually lets that guy go,
right?
Because it truly isn't just like, and then like later in an episode, like they work together because they're kind of doing the same gig, and it really isn't that personal.
No, but like genuinely, it's not.
But I love that. Oh, I have 80 grand or whatever. Like it's in a safe, and you go and grab a safe. Like, well, yeah, how do I know it's in there? Oh well, I mean, yeah, I just grabbed a safe and threw it in a random location just to fuck with people or whatever. And I'm like, man, you say that, but
also you seem like that dude.
you seem like that kind of guy. And sure enough, I love that he's digging his own cover. Like, he's almost like, I want you to dig this hole. Yeah, cool, okay. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need something to hide behind in a minute.
This goes wrong. Yeah. No, there's... oh, man, I want to rewatch that. When you brought that up, it's like, oh, damn, that's one I haven't watched in a minute. It's probably been 4 or 5 years since I've watched that.
Right. Yeah, it was really fun. I haven't finished it off yet, but it's like a lower intensity burn on us, honestly.
Yeah. He's got a good... It's just got a good vibe. I love that he is... We always get a kick out of shows where the criminals, like, where they don't bend over backwards to, like Leverage. I like Leverage, but they go to outlandish ends to make them the good guys. Whereas, like, Hustle just lets them fucking steal. Well, and, like, Mr. In-Between... Yeah, he's a likable guy. I don't mind him having a family and stuff. Like, he seems okay to maybe have a beer with, but also, dude is unapologetically a criminal.
Yeah, well, he talks about, like, he goes to a reporter, and, like, he tells them, like, well, don't you feel bad about it? He's like, no, I think people think I'm supposed to feel bad about it, but I don't. When I was in the army, I got paid to go kill guys, and now I get paid to go kill other guys, and it doesn't really, like, matter to, like, and it's like, well, the families or whatever. Do you think when I was in the army, those guys I killed didn't have any families?
Yeah.
Or what? Like, what's different? And she's saying, like, well, no, you signed up to be in the army, like, you had to do those things. No, I didn't have to sign up to be in the army. Signed up in the army. I chose to do those things. I chose to do those things, and I chose to go kill people. Well, not everyone chooses to join the army to kill people, and he's like, yeah, but that's what you do, though. Yeah. When you choose to join the army, you know that
you give up the next choice of what they have you do. If at that point the army decides you kill people, that's what you do.
Right.
I mean, I had a friend who did not mean to go into languages, and the army was like, hey, you're good at languages. It was news to her. But that's what she fucking went into.
Yeah. And so, like, it's like, well, it's the skill set I have. And,
right.
Like,
now you have training investment in this.
And it's not like it's not like Walter White or like another criminal of like, why don't you just go and use your obvious smarts to go make money somewhere else? He's not a genius.
No,
he it's more of like amongst the blind, the one-eyed man is king type thing of like, he's pretty much just competent and has like has a lot of like common sense. And among these low-level criminal fucks, like...
Right, in his tier of criminals, he's the best you can hire.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
But like, being a savant mechanic doesn't mean you can go, like, work at NASA.
Right. It doesn't...
But, like, at the tier he's at, landed the blind and one-eyed man's king.
It's, I really like it. Also, man, him and his brother and his friend and his brother-in-law, that Russian chick. Hey man, I need you to come over and tell her that you left a porn DVD at my house.
Oh god, that's right.
Why would I leave a porn DVD?
And he has to sit there through it, and like how, like, as the fetish just gets worse, and what, like.
So you like to watch people piss on each other today?
Yep. I did, like, looking at the guy like, motherfucker.
You motherfucker.
Yep, that's what I'm into.
But it also had a Dewey Crow in it.
Oh yeah, that's right. And we saw him. We saw him.
We just saw him in Bondsman.
Yep,
it was another show we watched. We might do a full episode.
I thought we might leave that for next week and let another Last of Us pile up before we talk about it.
Before we talk about sure, or either or. But yeah, the Bondsman was pretty fun.
Quite a lot of fun.
Kevin Bacon show. I also finally watched some of The Pit.
Oh yeah. I saw somebody say that they had not watched The Pit because they felt like it was just clearly a way to not pay the Crichton estate to reboot ER. And I didn't get that vibe at all. Medical shows are medical shows and have been around since television started. Like, ER didn't invent it. And I
suppose emergency room specifically.
Yeah, though the format of this is so different. I don't know. To me, it felt like saying that, Murder One ripped off Perry Mason or something. No, they're just both legal shows.
Well, that'd be kind of like...
It has Noah Wyle, I get that.
Well, like Law and Order only made Law and Order so it didn't have to remake Dragnet.
Right, but I think we all got the better end of that deal. I think Law and Order gave us a lot more than Dragnet did. And I like The Pit a lot more than I ever liked ER. I don't think ER, like, if you brought back ER now, it would just look like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah,
like,
it
that's
was pretty
what
soapy.
90s soapy. And and I feel like, I don't know, your mileage may vary, but I felt like The Pit, while being incredibly soapy, hides it well in the pace.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes down to I love a real-time show. Fuck.
Man, I watched one of the episodes I watched with a doctor watching it, like an actual like ER.
Yeah.
Just to see like how like, and he was talking about like it was funny because he would, before it would happen, like, oh no, he has hypertension or whatever, like, and then like called it because they were actually laying out the symptoms enough to where he could also call
I'm always
like,
happy when their I know that's not hard. It shouldn't be that hard to do, but I love it when their jargon's right. Yeah.
There was a couple points of like, well, hey, I know this is a show or whatever, but you can be doing chest compressions on that guy this entire time. Like whenever anyone crashes, which is a lot,
right,
it's like, hey, you can always be doing chest compressions. That's blood flow.
Somebody can be.
Like whoever, you got 3 guys in there, someone should be doing chest compressions while they bring in the crash cart.
Right.
But yeah, Fiona Dorff is really good in it. I like the 3 interns they have.
Yeah, the new docs or whatever.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, almost like the rookie level.
Right. Because they're 3 different, like, lovable, different kinds of, like, man, I really hate the super arrogant one. I really like Huckleberry, but feel bad for him. I honestly wasn't sure he'd last the day. And then I cannot remember the other girl's name that they stick on the road rash. That's one of my favorite moments.
Oh, there's also the one with the
have I got a job for you? Oh yes, and their mom is the head of chief of surgery.
Fucking
as the day, the one that tries to ask out Mateo. As the day tenses up and like gets busier and busier, she finally gets to have like not a huge moment, but like a low grade confrontation with her mom. And it's great because like her mom may be an amazing chief of surgeon, but when the shit hits the fan, like a fucking, field hospital MASH level, her mom craters. Like her mom needs shit to be done correctly. And like, as soon as that's not an option, she's like, well, then there's just no way to do this. And her daughter's like, give me 3 of those and 1 of those and 1 of these, and we can just fucking MacGyver this together. It's fine.
Yeah. You think that we hated the hospital administrator that keeps coming down and fucking with that guy? Like the doctor I was watching him with, and he's like, oh my God, this pisses me off so much. I tell you what, like I've had these conversations, I've been in these fucking meetings, and there is this person that comes down and breaks this down to you and basically tells the person that has no way to affect this and whatever, but you're supposed to bring up patient care.
Right.
And it's like, what the and he's like, okay, so
Robbie just short of spins and cusses that woman out several times. It's like, I always liked his just barely like,
He was talking about like, your turnaround is like, okay, so if someone comes into you with like pulmonary chest stuff, like you actually need to have a turnaround time so that you can get them in a bed before they have a heart attack. Those timings are important. Like your times need to be at the right code. So when she comes down and talks about that, like, okay, yeah, that's a thing that needs to be discussed,
worth worrying about,
and
sure.
Make sure our times on that are correct. But as far as the patient's experience, he's like, dude, that is in no way of like, that's how long they sit in the waiting room. That's what
we can't do anything.
But yet every administrator will tell the doctor
right
to fix it because they don't want to do the obvious fix, which is have more nurses. And
like when he spins around and like, great, hire up nurses, like just calling her bluff of like, oh, you got nothing? Fucking leave.
Oh man, I remember that even just working in a factory job, I had that same thing of like safety procedures and like every 6 months they'd have a safety meeting and you just suggest the same fucking things and be like,
all right, we'll do anything but those solutions.
And it's everyone wants a problem fixed without spending any money.
Right.
And it's
everybody wants a Wolfman movie.
And I'm just telling you, like, that's not how fucking anything works.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No, and those are also the moments in the show where I feel like like once an episode, they want to make sure that the home audience understands something about the medical system.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a little bit of an after school special rant from someone every
Yeah.
episode. But honestly, I don't mind it because it's frequently them yelling about something that I'm like, thank you, yell about that more. That's fucking bullshit. And like you said, it's one of the, we like to collectively just forget that what COVID was like.
Yeah, the fact that his trauma thing is just basically losing a esteemed colleague. of
Right.
his.
The whole first couple of episodes when they're like, why are you here? Like, you take this day off for a good reason, dude.
Yeah. Well, man, that gets to the whole point of where many of these people should, like, man, in any regular day, I think you need to go home.
Right. Like, honestly, if this were a normal industry,
Like, you just got assaulted. You probably should go home.
right, that lady should go home. Like, and God, when
You
everybody
just
around is
miscarried.
like,
You fucking
Yeah.
really need to go home.
when the lady gets popped in the face and everybody there's like, yeah, no, we've all been hit by a satisfied customer, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we've all been attacked. And like, you can see like the newbies are like, wait, what? Yeah, I've been really enjoying the show. I think the finale was Thursday, so I'm going to watch it tonight.
Yeah. I did not get to the overtime yet.
Yeah. I just love that in the conceit of the show. It's a real-time show of technically what should be a 12-hour shift, which I feel is already long for humans. Like, I know there's got to be studies showing that that's beyond your mental capability of working that long steady like that. But I just love the conceit of a real-time show that should be a 12-hour shift of doctors going 15 hours.
Well, I know that
That's just hilarious to me.
for 24, that the conceit ended up kind of hurt because, like, it's hard to gin up things to do for 24.
Right. By season 3, Jack Bauer's bladder should have exploded. Like,
Yeah.
when did the man pee?
But in the pit, I like that they take advantage of it, that, like, oh yeah, some of these things would take longer than an hour to come back on or deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain things that kind of run through a couple episodes because just, I like that in the background, I think like through 6 episodes, there's the kid whose parents have to basically accept that he's
fentanyl OD'd when he gets there.
the first, when he gets there, he's basically brain dead.
Right. And it's literally just like, what's the balance between care for them and not being rude, but also, man, we need this room.
But yeah, he's physically alive, but brain dead.
Right.
So like his
He's a great candidate.
organs are perfect. We basically get to kill him whenever we want.
There's a
But you can't tell that to a fucking
yeah.
parents.
There's
like,
Aston and his sister from all the Netflix Mike Flanagan thing. They're the brother and sister whose dad worked for Mr. Rogers.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a whole heartbreaking thing, and like where like you watch Robbie try to not like scream at them, but like he tries to not tell the sister she's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's the Lord's work to not.
Well, it tries to break down what
Like,
kind of hellish experience.
Like, you are putting your dad through just straight hell.
And also, he has a DNR. Like,
Right.
And that's what freaked me out. Of like,
where people want to refuse, and I'm like that. But God damn you, if I say to do something, fucking do it.
Like it made me think of like, wait a minute. So I guess, do I need to have it in, like, even if I have something in writing, it technically might not supersede my family member?
Right.
What the fuck?
Do I need DNR tattooed on me? Like,
How do I? Well, because man, the old guy, like old Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood dude, is shown of like having to put an intubator on, and then he can barely move. But then when he can move, he's starting to flip around. He doesn't know where he is. He just knows that he's choking on this fucking intubator,
It's
and like
bad.
he can't see. And I'm like, oh my god. Well, how do I have that not happen to me? I don't know. I guess it depends on your loved ones.
Right. Make sure your kids don't suck.
Well, maybe your kids don't show, or maybe actually, you know what? Be meaner to them. Maybe don't love them as much.
No shit.
Like fuck.
Like, 'cause, man, seriously. Oh man, there's a heartbreaking moment where the sister admits that, like, I know you had a great relationship with dad. All I had was being jealous of your relationship with dad. And like, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I don't generally care about medical shows that much and wasn't stoked because of the existence of the pit. But we threw on that first episode and I was like, shit, this flew through. And then as the show ramps up, it keeps sneaking people in on me of like, stupid dusty fucking room. God damn.
It's so interesting to having watched The Adolescent and watching their storyline of the kid that it made the kill list of his
girls
the girls at his school, and Fiona Dorff basically just gives the attending a lot of time. I forget his name.
Robbie
gives Robbie a lot of time to like do something, and
then she just goes on her own and calls.
And calls the cops because it gets to that point of, okay, and I'm like, okay, maybe not right away. Maybe you can find him and talk, but it gets to a point where they can't find him, and also you're in an ER. You can't be worrying about this, and it's like cool. And he goes and he tells her later, like, you went above my head, and he is like, well, no, I made a decision because you weren't fucking making one.
Yeah.
And
she's not to spoil it, but like she's not 100% right about that kid. But also, I love that she doesn't apologize for making that move.
Here was my argument is that, and I see this a lot in other shows too. Like, well, we have to be careful. Accusing this kid could ruin his life.
Yeah,
which is not untrue. He will be known as they'll call him Columbine in school.
Right.
Like his life will be damaged from this. He can switch schools.
Right.
But you know who would be damaged worse is 12 people would be dead.
Yeah.
To my thing of like, well, if he made a kill list, I feel like if you made a list like that is basically a kill list, I feel like you need to like.
He needs to talk to somebody.
Even
if you are entirely caring about that kid and not the girls, he still needs to talk to somebody.
And I would have suggested a counselor, but since he ran out of this ER and I don't know where the fuck he's going.
Now we got to panic harder.
Is it a school? And I'm like, is it a school day? Because if all those 12 girls are in the same place, I think maybe we need to be a little more concerned about what's happening.
And I don't think it's a school day because of Pit Fest going on.
Okay.
I think it's a Saturday. Because there's a major concert going on.
Okay, well then I would say that maybe we could wait on that.
But I still, at the start of it, when Robbie's dilly-dallying and Dorff goes around him, when Noah Wyle is not making a decision, his argument is exactly that. Like, well, but if we're wrong, we'll ruin this kid's life. He needs to talk to a counselor and not bring the cops in.
Yeah.
And Dorff is cool with that at the start, but like, okay, hey man, it's been an hour of that. I'm sorry, but now I got to go to a cop. But later on, the way the show actually lands it is that Robbie straight up comes up to her and is like, "You're right. I was thinking about him, and I was not considering the list of the girls on the list."
That's good because
they actually have him say that of like. Yeah,
on the side you want to err on,
right? And he does still yell at Dorff of like, because she thinks he's the mass shooter, and spoiler, he's not.
Right, I can only imagine.
No one knows that for a long time, but it does make it impossible then for them to get that kid any help because that kid will not talk to them now.
Yeah.
And Robbie turns to Dorff and is like, hey, so this part is your mess. Deal with it. And walks off.
Right.
Which I felt like was I'll accept that split hair better than what about his life? Because I did like basically Robbie's last leg to stand on why maybe you should have gone to the hospital counselor instead of going to the cops immediately is that it's now impossible to get that kid to talk to you.
Yeah.
And like now no counselor can talk to that kid because that kid's like, now he's being squirrelier and more secretive. And that was I could see that from a like, yep, okay, that's actually against our interests in getting him to talk. But I still like that they don't have Dora fucking apologize. Like not. She is not fucking sorry and does not regret taking the risk of involving the authorities.
Right.
You know?
Anyway, what'd you watch, my man?
Let's see. Watched a little bit of Matlock and Elsbeth and all those that are still going. Watched a movie called Let Them All Talk, which is a Steven Soderbergh movie with an insane cast. Candice Bergen, Diane Wiest, and Meryl Streep. So we had a hour and a half long Wiest infection.
Like yeast.
Soderbergh is always it's always going to be a well put together movie. It's like a Ron Howard, it's always going to be competently put together. I don't care if the dude's just got a phone in a wheelchair. It's going to look like a movie. That said, this movie only exists because he made a deal with the Queen Mary, which is an actual ocean voyage crossing ship to England. And Meryl Streep plays an author like Pulitzer Prize winning fiction author that's won a huge award, won't fly and takes a ship, and she reaches out to two college friends to go with her, which is Bergen and Wiest.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes really obvious that her first big novel is definitely based on Bergen
Okay.
and led to Bergen's divorce,
Oh no.
and may have mentioned an affair in the novel and fucked her on her prenup. So Bergen's selling bras at a mall at the start of this,
Mm-hmm.
and gets the call to come on a sea voyage with her old college friend whose book fucking ruined her.
Yeah,
And goes on the ship. It's a chill, fun movie. It's not a bad plot. A lot of it is improvised. It's weird. There's a lot of structure to the plot. You can tell they had a script, but then you can tell they just spent 2 weeks on a ship with really great actresses and then just worked through the scenes. When it works, when it's, Wiest and Bergen and Street talking, it's fantastic. Like when it clicks, it's great. Lucas Gage, I think, is the other actor. I fucking hate that kid. Jesus. Maybe he's fine. He comes off like if you Thorazine Crispin Glover into like a allow him around people level of drugged, like the way they do like zoo like bears at a circus.
Sure.
That's the vibe this kid gives off. And in scenes where he's improvising against Meryl Streep, it's painful, like painful. But overall, like I find myself at least being able to enjoy almost any Soderbergh movie, but this is definitely his like, oh, because you're Steven Soderbergh, even your 2-week ship experiments can be released in theaters. And also, I think Streep took like 25 cents to be in this movie. Like, this is clearly favors, and everybody wants to just be on a boat with Soderbergh for a couple of weeks. Also, kept up with, all my normal procedurals. Fucking Tracker and Watson took a bye week this week. I hate that. I don't care what your show is. Shoot them all and then just dole them out once a week, please.
Yeah.
It just seems like ridiculous that we still do this. And this week wasn't even, I don't even know what happened. Like, I don't know if it was March Madness. I don't know if it was, there's no Oscars right now. Like, sometimes you look at the Sunday and are like, oh, it's fucking Super Bowl. Yeah, all right. Though, hear me out, counter program that shit. Or understand that we're all going to stream it after the ball game.
Right.
There's no reason not to still put these things on. It drives me insane. Netflix put out another season of Love on the Spectrum. That show is a tear-jerking, feel-good, holy shit. God damn. I'm sure everybody's probably seen the clip going around right now of Jack Black surprising Tanner on, I think it's on Kelly Clarkson's show. Tanner's the fucking greatest. I'll fight you. He's the best. Nobody keeps up with Tanner's energy. He's awesome. And Jack Black just absolutely makes this kid's day. But everybody on the show is great. Like you want to root for everybody. Perry is so obsessed with trains. Like just also watching a dating show where every date ends in a painfully honest assessment of the date. There's no ambiguity. If you've ever left a date and you thought, I didn't really click with that, but he seemed like he did, or she seemed like she did, and I guess we'll go out like for a few more months before we all admit that we don't like each other. No, none of that. None of that. The end of every one of these dates, there's a straight up like, and so I wish you the best, and walk off. It's fucking awesome. I love all these people. Makes you just want to root for everybody on the show. It's fucking great. Watching a couple from one of the previous seasons, she is very, very into Lion King. And
how into Lion King is she?
Man. Also, I feel in my, like, I definitely feel seen on the how much of your special interest are you allowed to talk about on a date? Like, how long can you go on about the thing that you're super into? And like, I deeply wish someone had just told me time limits when I was younger.
Right.
Like I would have set a timer on my watch.
What?
Like 15 minutes is when we have to stop talking about.
I could have clocked this. I could have worked this. I could have.
Right.
I could have worked it out.
I would have changed subject. It would have been obvious, but I would have there'd have been a beep, and I would have quit talking about Brian Wilson's mental illness, and we would have moved on to a different obsession. And like these people will do it. It's fucking great. But there's the couple where she's super into Lion King. He has synesthesia, and they have a really great moment where they're like, "Can we talk about how our brains work?" Like to the camera, and the guy's like, "Yeah," and she explains how her brain works, and then she's like, "But he has synesthesia. He sees colors for numbers." And she's like, "So what's the number that associated with the color for treasure?" And he's like, 1. And then she sings 8975309, like the song,
Yeah,
or 85, whatever.
6579309.
She sings the colors of it. And he looks over and is like, "Yeah, that's right."
Oh, what?
And his family is like, "I don't have those memorized." Like,
Yeah.
and you could tell it's a consistent thing for him.
Mhm.
That is that's the color for that number. It doesn't change. And you could see his family that are like, "Damn." And she's like, "Yeah, I know those." Like, because we know each other. They've been together like 2.5 years now. Show is fucking adorable. Will absolutely make you cry. It's great. The very first season that I watched, honest to God, I had a moment of like, who produced this?
Okay.
Like, are we making this show? What is the stance here?
Well, yeah, you see like a reality show of of people on the spectrum, and you're like, "Oh, that feels exploitative."
Right.
Like you're ready to you're ready to like
Right.
just.
And it's remarkably not. I can't believe how remarkably unexploitive it feels, and also exploitative, and also how much it makes you check. Like watching it, I find myself checking where I have some invisible line in my head between, quirky and something I would call like a disability, and then routinely every episode finding out that line's dumb. There's no such thing. Like there's just more and more inconvenient things, but that's nothing on the person and everything on how society's built.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not the fault of the person in a wheelchair that stairs suck. You know, that's whoever built the building was a dick to wheelchair people. And so the show kind of routinely rechecks that for you. As you watch people like just with different, you start to just realize it's all just sensory needs and different accommodations.
I like that.
It's a fucking cool show. 3rd season's out now on Netflix. People should go watch that. Oh, because of Val Kilmer, I tried to passing away. R.I.P. Iceman. I tried to watch The Saint, which I had last seen in the theater.
That was in the theater?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, it was. I was in college. We all went like it was going to be a big movie. He passed up doing some other franchise for that.
Uh-huh.
Like it was one of those like it was supposed to be a new big franchise. And like I remembered coming out of the theater in the 90s and thinking, how could that be that bad? But I think we were all, I definitely a lot more misogynistic at the time. And I believe at the time it was roundly blamed on the ludicrous casting of Elizabeth Shue as a cold fusion scientist, I think.
Okay.
But let's be real. That's no dumber than any given Bond plot.
Yeah.
So, and also this is based on a TV show Roger Moore starred in, for fuck's sake. Like, we should have laid off. Elizabeth Shue does fine. I didn't make it through the opening trying to rewatch this. It's insanely slow. Like the flashback opening of him deciding on his name and the monks in this shitty orphanage locking all the food up and parading it through all these orphans and make it like it's all locked up because of that little shit over there.
Yeah.
And then he fashions a key and picks that should be great. He's the shit in an orphanage that robs the monks and Robin Hoods all the food to the kids.
It's a little on the nose, but you should, yeah.
But there's no reason that it can't, young Indiana Jones style, like that this shouldn't open with a bang. And or young Sherlock Holmes or any number of things. It is interminably slow. It's like just the cuts of it and everything. Like, oh my god. And I remembered by the opening credit that like, nope, 90s me was wrong about a lot of movies, not this one. Val Kilmer should never have done this. This made us start questioning his agent. But then I also watched Top Secret.
Right.
Which is not the Zucker's best movie, but it's from the same folks that did Airplane. I don't think they like it as much. I definitely feel like it is more of a movie than Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah.
But maybe less of a movie than Airplane.
Sure.
Either way, It is Kilmer's first film screen role. He does all the singing in it. They released an album of all the parody songs in a foreshadowing of him eventually being Jim Morrison. And I fucking love Top Secret. It's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
In a very Airplane way. But there's just a million jokes everywhere. They'll be running through a scene where another gag's happening, and you'll realize that the sign in German in the background is a warning sign that this train goes to museums. In German. Who the fuck's that for? Like, it's one of those movies I've seen a bunch of times since I was a kid, and like there's a different dumb joke that you notice like every time. It also has some, I think I texted you this. It has a bit I can't believe I haven't seen done dead seriously in an action movie. He's facing off with, they're East German communists, but they're just Nazis in the movie. And at the very start, Val Kilmer still doesn't know what's going on. He's not really a spy. He's a rock star in East Germany for a concert. And they're standing on the train and they're at a train station. And behind them, a bunch of German soldiers grab a guy holding a package and rip the package away from him. The dogs are going nuts. Package falls on the ground. They drag the man away. And Val Kilmer goes, "Where are they taking him?" And the German officer looking at him goes, "What do you mean? We're not taking him anywhere." And you hear the gunshot. I was like, "What do you, no, we're just going to shoot him here." And I was like, how have I never seen the implied, no, we're not, what do you mean take him somewhere? We're just going to shoot him here. Blam. Yeah. I can't believe I'm not seeing that in a real action movie.
Yeah.
Because it's done for a bit here. And I was like,
well,
the world has changed.
That's
action
cool.
movies have changed.
Yeah.
That's probably about it. Otherwise, I think, like I said, I skipped Daredevil this week, and I've been just doing weird watch throughs of USA style shows. I watched a couple episodes of Castle, watched a couple episodes of Burn Notice. That's about it. Right. I sat down to watch Daredevil and was like, no, I'm sure Fire going to have a better time watching either one of those. Yeah. Or I could throw the dice.
Well, it sounds like a good time to mention that if you haven't joined us over on patreon.com/tvdudes, you can throw us down a buck an episode and get bonus content each week. Like this week, in which it's another TV Dudes at the Movies, where we talking about Death of a Unicorn.
That's right. We're going to see if A24 can bring the laughs and the blood.
Will it be a magical time, or are they just beating a dead horse?
Ooh, see what you did there. But first, why don't we talk about The Studio over on Apple Plus?
Being the head of Continental is the only job I've ever wanted.
Yeah, I'm honored, obviously, to be one of the people that gets to choose, which movies get made and which ones don't. That's huge. And I got into all this because, I love movies, but now I have this fear that my job is to ruin them.
The job is a meat grinder.
Prestige films and box office hits, those are not mutually exclusive. We can do both, and we will do both.
Matt, I get it. You want to make great art and make $1 billion doing it. Well, guess what? That never happens, and you're going to screw everything up trying to make it happen.
If it was up to me, we'd be focusing on making the next Rosemary's Baby or Annie Hall or some great film that wasn't directed by a pervert.
Turns out perverts make great movies.
They really do.
The Studio is an American satirical comedy television series. I love how Wikipedia phrases. Created by Seth Rogen, who plays Matt Remick, the newly appointed head of the film production company Continental Studios. Matt attempts to save the floundering company in an industry undergoing rapid social and economic changes. I don't know that that's quite what he's trying to do. I think he's just trying to make films. But we got Seth Rogen as Matt Remick, Catherine O'Hara as Patty Lee, the person Matt replaces, Ike Barinholtz, who we just loved in other Apple TV show, After Party.
Yes,
he was so fucking great in the After Party. As Sal Saperstein, he's Matt's second in command, basically. Chase Sui Wonders, who I've loved in Generation. She's Quinn Hackett, Matt's assistant, who he actually makes. I love the moment he promotes her, and she's like, "I thought that was just something you said to keep me from quitting." It was,
but now,
but also I meant it. And then Catherine Hahn, tearing it up as Maya Mason, their head of marketing. Of course, you've also got Cranston, Bryan Cranston, David Krumholtz, Rebecca Hall is going to turn up at some point, Thomas Babuska, and then a ton of cameos. Paul Dano, Peter Berg, Martin Scorsese, Charlize Theron, Steve Buscemi, Sarah Polley, Greta Lee, Anthony Mackie, Dave Franco, Ron Howard, Zac Efron, Olivia Wilde. You could tell, like, Rogan and crew called in every favor and dropped all of Apple's money everywhere they could to get everyone and their dog to be in this. Plus, every episode seems to be a nod to usually something pointedly expensive, like shooting a Wonder on film.
Yeah.
Or just shooting on film.
Basically, like, Hollywood hand job. In another one in that genre,
right?
Not unlike The Offer,
right? The Offer franchise.
But I really dig it as far as Seth Rogen playing a newly promoted head of a studio,
right?
Like he's just a producer before, and then he's Bryan Cranston makes him a fucking head of things, but on the condition of making a Kool-Aid Man movie.
Right.
So he...
And like Cranston's everything you think of as like a soulless suit that just wants to make money and hates movies. And Rogen is both like trying to get that job, like wants to be that dude, but also still has the like...
Well, there's one problem here.
Studio tour shine.
I hear you like this artsy fartsy bullshit or whatever, and we're here to like make.
We don't
money.
make films.
So,
we
no,
make
sir,
movies.
Like we do not make films. We make fucking movies that people want to watch.
Pay to watch.
And honestly, like there's too much that I agree with Bryan Cranston on that level. Of like, no. Commercialism, like, yeah, we're gonna have to fight battles against this guy, but also he's not wrong.
Yeah. Like Catherine Hahn's not wrong in most of her arguments. Like I also watched Big Lebowski recently, and like, no, you're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
No, sir, I'm a much as a corporate shill as the next guy. I promise. Like, I'm a corporate whore.
Are you my man? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, you get it.
And then he like steals Martin Scorsese's script for Jonestown.
That whole, like, honestly,
because of the Kool-Aid thing.
Waiting on you to watch it because, like, I didn't want to spoil that for you. I hadn't seen shit about this show, and all of that just unfolds. I was like, no, that caught me off guard. How downhill that went? How fast?
Well, it was definitely like I
by
should
the end
either,
of the episode. Like, are you crying?
It definitely means like I need to either start writing TV or I need to be a studio exec because I knew every time he made a decision there, I knew the exact move to like. Once I hear this about you paying $10 million for a Martin Scorsese script about Jonestown.
Oh, well, I bought that.
I bought that specifically to kill
I heard the same thing you did and thought exactly what you thought.
Which was like my first immediate, well, that's what you have to say.
And he just keeps digging the next hole and jumping from the frying pan to the next fire.
I mean, the smart move would have just not been in this position, but this is definitely the way to get out of it.
But it works great in terms of a show that is just continually like, you make one decision, it goes wrong. You make another bad decision, it goes wrong. Like,
well, I mean, the next episode, The Wonder, is all about like, I love that the last thing to go wrong is that the car is there.
And you see it from the start. Like Fanny was like,
"Hey, the car."
As soon as he's standing, he's proclaiming how much he loves the script, and he quotes a chunk from it to Sarah Polley, and he's like, and then she drives away, and Fanny goes. Like he's in the fucking driveway. I mean, I don't have to like they love me on set. I don't have to park in the driveway. They can fucking move it if they need to.
Some of this is on people of like, okay, so everyone kind of is aware of this shot. How did no one see that there's a fucking car in front of?
Right.
Like that's somebody's job. That's somebody's job.
When she sits down and like when she gets
gets
in the car and like, or Doug.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Doug or whatever his name is.
The fucking PA. Oh, he's fired tonight. No, they won't know it came from you.
It won't know if it came from you, but he's fired. He's done.
Oh, he's fucking done. Yeah, I enjoyed the third episode as well.
So you watched The Note because that was the one I watched ahead of you. And that was
The Note.
Man, The Note was definitely like, man, was this show made for you and me of like make movies shorter?
Right. When Anthony Mackie finally pulls him aside and is like, you have to get him to cut that. I am a producer on this, man. I have points.
I have back end.
To
worry about here. Fuck and you.
Like you have to, like you made a flawless movie.
It starts off on a screener on a Ron Howard movie. So they're all excited. They're like, oh my God.
A beanie notes.
He's a beanie notes.
You know,
he's a workman's actor.
Rare to have a Final Cut director.
Yeah.
That you're like, well, yeah, man, Final Cut screenings are so rare. It's great to sit down for one because you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do this. We'll just have to watch it.
We're gonna watch the greatest movie we've ever seen, and then just go cool.
We'll go cool. We'll say how much we loved it. Boom, boom. We're done. They're ready to call that day early.
It is, and it. The way that they take you through a movie that you're not watching is beautifully done because like you get it like the coolness of like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Well,
that's how you start a fucking movie. My god.
The point of this movie is that it is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
if it was bad the whole way too, it wouldn't matter.
No, but it really comes across like in a way that like I know Entourage was leaning the other direction in Vinny's movies, but but it's a real trick to make your fake movie look competent, I think. And they really do it. And then they're like standing up like, that's how a movie ends. Jesus Christ, that's the greatest fuck. Yeah.
Woo! Well, it does fade.
Oh, wait, there's a little bit of coda. A little bit of coda there.
Well, it fades to black. So, like, they think, woo, we're
and
out.
They're all and they stand for a second of it like,
oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, a little sticker. Shit. That's the kid from the photo. That's fucking cool. I love that. That's
all right.
And then it, like,
45 minutes later. What the fuck?
And they're all just like
Catherine Hahn is about to shit a fucking brick.
Oh, my God. When is it Catherine O'Hara? That's like Patty. That's like I've seen it. I wanted to put a bullet through my brain so that it would stop the part of my brain that can sense time. It's so terrible.
Well, also it's
but no one can tell Ron Howard, and they're all making a solid argument. There's only one of us here who has the clout to tell Ron Howard anything.
Right,
it's you, dude.
No, this to the point where like no, we have to work with Ron Howard again. Like I like Anthony Mackie. I want to work with him on his next movie. I can't tell him the segment that's an ode to his dead cousin is bullshit. I need to wait. The producer, Catherine Harris, like wants like, oh no, I'm out by myself here as a producer. I need the connections.
Right.
I can't.
I have to suck up to him now.
You're the studio head. Like
the only one who doesn't have to suck up to him.
Your job is to be the monster that kills people's darlings.
Right.
I'm sorry, but also get this. You get to be the hero today.
When he sends his second in command in there, and the guy comes back out on Howard's side, like, no man, we can never cut it. It's the greatest piece.
like
you honor cousins, Matt.
Studio execs have have a hard rep because they are not in the creative process really, but their job is to, if Old Yeller gets the fucking rabies, it is their gig to take Old Yeller out back and fucking put two in him. Like that's their, and when they do that, they're the hero because no one else wanted to do that.
Like, well, he's going to be so mad at no. He's going to thank you at the Academy Awards. Because this movie is flawless good. Until that moment. It just should not fade back up.
He'll thank you after crying in his fucking butt of money.
Right. I love that how they set it up so that they cleanly have a spectacular movie with a bad coda.
Yes.
There's no re-edits to do.
It's because it's why it's called The Note.
The Note.
There's only one note.
No, like, roll credits there.
And we're out. It's like, oh man, well, our movies are really longer on a day. Like, oh man, they're gonna fucking kill us. That's 2 less screenings a day. We're gonna gotta.
She starts running so that's this much less on our back end and blah blah blah. And you can just see Anthony Mackie like, you have to get this done.
Yeah, like Anthony Mackie didn't like it before, but now he realizes he's about to lose some fucking money on this, and man. Like,
yeah, all the plots of them have been funny,
and then to realize that he is the guy that gave the note on Beautiful Mind, like Ron Howard. Like, it tells a story about Ron Howard at a Beautiful Mind screening, telling the note about Paul Bettany being like, what if the audience knew he was imaginary the whole time, and just being ripped apart.
Right. Like so what if we knew Tyler Durden wasn't real the whole time?
So Matt? Like, what the ending of the episode's gotta be, right?
Yeah. Well, because I love that he doesn't want to give Howard that note because he doesn't think Howard remembers him. He's that kid from that screening.
Yeah.
And obviously Howard does.
Sure.
Like, are you going to give me another note, Matt? Huh? Beautiful Mind, you going to give me a note? Also, Howard just dunking on. And Anthony Mackie getting, like, I'm sorry, man, I'm on your side, but this is good shit.
Yeah, this is good. I got to get on here.
I got to dunk on you too, man. Yeah, all of that was great. The thing that, so throughout that entire, like, the scene where he is where he and Mackie are going back and forth, you gotta fucking tell him, in their office, underneath it, the score, it's like jazz drum, like almost along with the rhythm of the patter, so that Mackie makes like this and this, like 3 points, there's drum hits underneath each one.
Oh,
and like there's
that's pretty good.
There's little things throughout. It's not just the one or about oneers and stuff. It's a rare show where I feel like everybody involved is having fun. like
Right.
like with their job. Like everybody's doing their job to 100% and having a ball with
Well,
it.
Charlize Theron shows up for a minute at her part, like
Right.
because she's friends with. Like, this is definitely Seth Rogen is calling in favors and using Apple money to pay friends.
Right. I love that they even bitch like, we should have took Apple.
Right. I should have taken this to Apple like I fucking should have.
Yeah.
But also I love that showing everyone's jobs is simultaneously kind of stupid, but also devastatingly important.
Right. Right.
Like that's how Hollywood works. Of like Catherine Hahn is giving the pitch of like the two posters.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that like, well, they're basically, I don't see what they're both good.
What's it matter? They're both good.
What's it matter? Like we pick one, right? But also like demographics and like everyone's got to like, and it's got to say something about the movie and like, okay, so for this meeting, this is the most important decision we're making today.
Right.
It's not dumb. It'll be dumb in retrospect later. Like,
right. Across your life, is it a dumb decision? Yes, most people's jobs are.
And that's what it reminds me
time.
about The Offer of like, no one can understand that this is the most important thing you're doing today is pretending you have a full script for a gangster.
Right. This fake ass meeting
it's a fake meeting or whatever, but also it has to. It's like your career's
like,
on it.
Even at the start of the first set, when his assistant Chase Sweet Wonder, I really like that actress. She was in Generation. When his assistant's like, "Why the fuck are we taking a meeting with Jenga?" And he's like, "Well, you take the." She's like, "But you're not seriously going to make a Jenga?" He's like, "No,
we're not making a Jenga. You just take the meeting.
You take the meeting, and then you say you're going to make the movie, and you never make that.
And you
movie.
never make that fucking movie, and you go make the movie you actually want to make.
Right. And like I like that. Like, nope, that's you kind of seeing the game. I feel like a lot of us in my age group, your age group, like this couple of generations, are caught in that time period of loving some longer, more sprawling 70s, like feeling like the 70s was cool and there's some cool 60s movies and liking the grandeur of what Hollywood was, because when we were little, it was all presented to us at once. But then also we grew up on the fucking Goonies and Terminator and a million Dolph Lundgren movies and shit like, Cyborg. I mean, the same guy who showed me Godfather took me to see Cyborg in the theater. And like, I don't feel like I can be blamed for sort of equating both things. Or when we watch like the Every Frame a Painting on the Spielberg Oneer. I just rewatched that recently. And I love that he talks about like Spielberg is a guy, partly for a long time known as the guy who killed 70s auteur filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like that he was part of that 80s class that wrecked that. Or 70s, 80s class.
Because he committed the sin of making a movie everyone wanted to see.
Right. How dare he be popular? And yet, when you look at Spielberg now at this point, like at the Fabelmans end of his career, he's also the dude that seems to most love that shit.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like that's where a lot of us are caught. And I feel like that's where Rogen maybe is a real person, and also it's where Matt, his character, lives, of like he definitely wants to make big fun movies that like crush the fucking market. But also he wants to make Martin Scorsese's movie. He wants to make,
well, I like that.
Or a movie by not a pervert.
A lot of the conflict from the episodes arises from him not wanting to do what his job is, and unfortunately being the studio head of a movie picture.
Right.
You'd think, oh, I want to be like Bob Evans or something, and like, I'm just gonna do coke and tell people how great this new movie I'm gonna make is, and get the funding.
Bob, you've also got to be a son of a bitch.
But you also got to like to me, I was like, yeah, but also that means you got to go and tell people, and you got to kill darlings.
Yes.
Okay, so you got to kill. It's kind of a daily thing of that. You got to kill people's dreams.
Like your job is to ruin movies. I'm sorry. Like what he says to Catherine Hahn, or not Catherine Hahn. He says to Catherine O'Hara of like yesterday, I was just miserable and furious and angry at everyone that I didn't have this job, and I would kill to go back to being mad that I didn't have this job.
I would kill to going back. Zac Efron in
the newest episode.
In the newest episode, is basically
the missing reel.
The missing reel, like this noir thing, and Olivia Wilde is shooting on just straight up old school 45 millimeter, and a reel goes missing, and that's a thing that you gotta like
we called it at the start of like, so she stole that reel.
So she stole that reel, right?
Because there's two things on it. There's the big finale. where
the finale shootout,
where I took your note, and then my cameo,
right?
And like, all right, well, she hates one of those things, or
well, honestly, the
both.
cameo was what threw me off. I'm like, oh, maybe she didn't take it because that sounds like she would.
Right. And I love her like, oh, I was just planning on secretly cutting it out.
Yeah, it was the performance of my career. I just put all the frustration of my day and I just threw it in there. But they're trying to figure out who took it, and of course it's the classic noir style, like kind of like the Oner episode is shot in a Oner.
Yes, yeah. They're all nods back in.
Even though this show does like a Oner continuous shot for basically any
it has
scene
a style. Yeah.
It's not like it never cuts, but there's long takes.
No, but the Oner episode was a Oner episode.
A Oner, yeah. And I like the level of, they will not, like, he's shooting on film, and like that's the heart of cinema. Like, oh man, I just love it in the grain it plays. It's so alive, and it's like
when he's telling it all the projectionist who's like, shut up,
like, film sucks. If it's digital, I guess you just put a button. This fucking film, it's a whole thing.
Does my hair look weird? It's dark as fuck in here, man. I don't know.
And also, like, you're fetishizing do you mean the things that are wrong with film? Like, those scratches on it?
Those are mistakes.
Those are mistakes, like.
Right. I also have nostalgia for them, but let's recognize your records are not supposed to make that vinyl noise.
Yeah.
When they're new, they don't.
Yeah, it's just so one of those weird fetishizing things. But because he's done that, he can't afford a rap party.
Right.
And I was like, look, dude, I don't care if you got to go in your fucking personal funds, but you need a rap party for a production you're on. That just has to happen. That, like, having only done one between us, like, it's making a movie is insane. And I'm saying that as just making a small web series. I'm making a movie must be that times a million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 1,000 people, but at least 100 people in the rap party room. Like their main gig, like the last, I want to say, like 6 months has probably been fucking just this.
Right. Just being you have to be completely obsessed as if this is the most important thing ever, sincerely, even though it is not.
Right.
To anyone offset, it's simply not.
Right. But to you now,
it has to
it
be.
Is. And it almost, like, I like the rap party as like it's almost
a crazy feeling.
A rap party is just kind of like at the end, where you get some Gatorade after a marathon or something, or like a cool down period. Like you can't just go run another marathon after.
Yeah.
Like,
but like you've won a battle in a war no one else cares about.
Yeah. But you need to celebrate the win, because otherwise you won't be able to fight the next one. Like,
right. What was the point of doing this? Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things that you could never explain it to a money person, I think, but I feel strongly about. I don't care if it's just if it's just like little cucumber sandwiches and some Kool-Aid,
right?
But you gotta have a fucking party. Like, you gotta have you gotta have everyone and have them pat each other on the back and go like, fucking, we did it.
Yeah.
And I love that Zac Efron basically,
like budget wise, we were absolutely out of money at the end of Henshin. All of that went on screen, and yet we definitely bought everybody a drink at the rap party that wanted to drink, because god damn, they gave their all for us. Right.
And so like they have a secret rap party and don't invite him.
Because everybody hates you, dude. You suck.
It's cool. It's cool. You're here now. You can stay.
I love Efron.
I got hats for everybody.
You can't have one. Jesus, fine. You look so sad.
So sad. But like Zac Efron is so funny.
Yeah. Olivia Wilde's great, but Zac Efron just steals it.
Well, it's like Olivia Wilde. Like it's definitely those fun. The actors are not afraid to let themselves look a little.
Yeah. I feel like Neil Patrick Harris and Harold and Kumar really set a great standard for playing a douche version of yourself.
Yeah.
Like no, I'm not playing Neil Patrick Harris. I'm playing NPH.
Yeah. They actually get Scorsese. They I like that Olivia Wilde is okay with portraying herself as a monster, like taskmaster director,
and that it was like she's basically a tyrant, and also that she's holding the film hostage.
Which Terry Gilliam genuinely did. Like, he stole a final reel of his movie and holed up in his house and told them on negotiations, I will burn it.
I think if you were to tell anyone, to convince any even old school directors of against film, like, okay, cool, if we shoot on digital, no one can steal a reel of this and fuck you.
Right.
And he ends up having to go into his own pocket to shoot that. It's like, man, hey, if you would have just gone in your own pocket
for the rap party
earlier, I'm not sure if that would have fixed the Olivia Wilde thing, because she seemed like a fucking monster. But
yeah.
all of a sudden now you can.
Right.
Man,
just when Efron's giving him shit of like he's like, we just don't have the money, the budget, and blah blah blah. And like, oh yeah, man, is that your 62 vet out there?
It's all on screen, huh?
Like, yeah, no. So really putting it all up there. I'm impressed.
No.
Yeah, that cracked me up. I'm enjoying the shit out of the show. After you watched the franchise and told me it was great, I tore through that in like a Sunday and enjoyed the shit out of it. I know that this is less MCU like superhero focused. Like, franchise is a different animal. It was very much not movie making, but MCU making.
Yeah.
And this is more old school Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a sucker for this shit, and I am absolutely in love with the studio. It's definitely my favorite thing going on Apple TV. I haven't watched a lot of the other Apple TV stuff, but it's this and Ted Lasso.
An After Party.
Yeah, an After Party.
I would only say like the last episode didn't know Catherine Hahn.
Yes, and you need Catherine Hahn in everyone. Whatever costume he's doing with all of her clothes, they're fucking insane. Like, every time she walks in, she's in a crazier, like, you mugged Axl Rose and stole half his shit. God, she's in like a midriff football mesh jersey that says Miami on the back, or something insane on the back. Like, it's just nuts.
It's just insane.
In a floor length puffy vest coat. Like, yeah, I don't even know where they found the clothes that woman's wearing. It's amazing.
I fully recommend the studio.
I'm having a real blast. It's got a lot of charm. It's the most fun thing for me on Apple since Ted Lasso, I think. But that's probably going to wrap it up for us this week.
Indeed.
Tune in next week. We're going to check out likely The Bondsman.
I suppose it might, unless you can get all The Last of Us.
Yeah, unless I may tear through all of Last of Us. There'll be a couple episodes in the new season of that out, I believe, by next week. But until then...
Wait, you were invited? Yeah, we like him.
That's right. I don't have any problem with Sal. I like him.
Devastating.
The job makes you stressed and panicked and miserable. But when it all comes together, and you make a good movie, it's good forever.
Well, you're gonna get us all fired.